This evening, we're going to open with the historic preservation. Beverly, will you do our roll call, please?
Ms. Terra is going to read tonight.
Miss Adele,
Mr. Adele here.
Mr. Vaughn,
Here.
Miss Daverly,
Here.
Miss George Ellis,
Here.
Mr. Loddick,
Here.
Mr. Naylor.
Here.
Excellent. Has everyone read the minutes for our last meeting? Any discussion?
Make a motion we approve now.
Second.
So approved. Vote.
Aye.
Approved. The first item on the agenda this evening is Mr. Warren with item number COA 2108.
Thank you, board, and thank you for bumping me up so I can make it to this next meeting. I greatly appreciate it.
Mr. Warren, you need to be sworn in. Will you raise your right hand?
Sworn in.
I'm sorry?
I say sworn in. All right.
Do you swear that the information you will provide this evening is true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
That's it. Now you can tell us why you're here.
All right. I don't want to witness stand, but okay. So it's a re-roofing of the property that I acquired on 220 South Marion Street. Putting a galvanized metal roof on both buildings that sits on that particular piece of property. Right now, it's a hot mess. I mean, before I thought it was a hot mess.
You're just trying to throw some water on.
No, it's gonna probably end up being the nicest building on that whole drag when I get done.
Fantastic. Are there any questions for Mr. Warren?
I'm confused. On the second page there, request, summary of request. Am I reading the wrong thing? It just says request for COA placed on him. Here it is. White seal.
That's COA 10, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
He's COA 2108.
Yeah, I think that's just a Xerox error.
Okay.
Ms. Warren, the roof that was there existing, that was an asphalt shingle roof on that
Yes, sir.
structure?
I think Roger just put one down a few blocks from me, galvanized roof right next to S&S. Same style, same ordeal.
Any further information needed? Then we'll close the public portion of this hearing.
Motion to close public hearing?
I'll second.
Any conversations? Any questions? Any discussion?
Once we close public hearing, I have a question, Mr. Young.
We did close. Okay. Sorry, guys. All in favor of closing public hearing? Aye. All opposed? So moved. So fast.
Mr. Young, this was done under the emergency auspices of repairing leaks, right?
Yes, sir, it was.
Did this originally come in and occur prior to or after we were able to get the city to grant the separation of minor versus substantial?
That passed last night. This was submitted in prior to. That's the
Okay, so-
reason it's still on the agenda for tonight.
So this would be an example of a product that under those emergency auspices that are, being granted to the administrative wing of this board as opposed to the members of the board itself. This would be the kind of product we might see in the future where the work's already done. We're just ratifying that, yes, this is meritus of COA.
Yeah.
Further discussion?
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passed.
All right, thank you.
That's all.
Thank you.
We'll get the COA to you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Ms. Dorgelis, the other two petitioners are here. Do you want to stay with them?
Yes, we're gonna stay with them, and then we'll close this meeting and go on. Okay. Mr. Cohen, in reference to COA 2110.
Lieutenant Cohen, Jonathan Cohen's wife.
If you would raise your right hand, please. Your full name
Jeanette Cohen,
and your address,
282 East Duval.
and do you swear the information you will provide this evening is true and correct? Do. Excellent, thank you. And so why are you here this evening?
We're gonna replace the windows on the building across the way. He sent in all the information. He's working on it.
I see a number of photographs in your packet here. Can you explain which windows are subject to replacement and what the style of the replacement is going to look like?
It's just gonna be the same thing basically that's there. We went to Lowe's and the contractor there is doing it for us, so it's the same basically, except those are really old and falling apart, so.
Ms. Dorgelis, here's your photos if you want to show them.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I see, I think, 4 different styles of windows on this one particular building.
So this is what, this is the one that's there now in the back.
Okay.
This is what's there in the front. And it's gonna be basically the same as this.
Okay, so this one is going to replace all of the others, and
Right.
this will be the new style.
Right.
Build it on,
Right.
make it look like a
It'll be
historic
on the side
sash window.
Any further questions, concern?
Should we close public hearing?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Any further discussions?
No, of all the window designs on the structure, the one that is the most historically appropriate is the one she's building with. So this is actually going to be a dramatic improvement to the view there in the historic district.
And a side discussion on the historic district. Some of the homes that were built in the 30s earlier, the windows are being replaced. I did a recent check of price to replace the wooden double hung as they were built. Anderson gave what, $2,000. What windows have we approved for that?
There are some vinyl and some metal facsimiles of the historic originals. Provided you're doing like in kind, you don't necessarily have to go with the double hung wood style. But you can, like I said, there are vinyl, there are metallic facsimile replacements that more than fit the character, the theme, and the time period of the district. For example, this one that she's proposing.
That's the reason I asked this question.
Yeah, this would be a less pricey example of a window that from the 10 to 20 feet foot test would appear to blend with the theme of the neighborhood without costing $2,000 a window.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So passed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Georgelis, we didn't get a motion.
Oh, we didn't?
No.
That was just a close public hearing.
Yes, okay. Motion to approve.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is COA 2111. Michael McNally.
Please let me see these photos after you guys received yours.
Guys, I'm Michael McAnally. We bought the building. Oh,
Will
sorry.
you please give Beverly your name and address?
Michael McAnally, and you want my home address or the business?
Where we can contact you.
Yeah, 320 South or North Marion Street.
Now you get to raise your hand. The information you provide this evening, please swear to be true and correct to the best of your.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. And you are here this evening for,
We had painted we signage on the front, we put signage on the front of the building, and we had painted signage on the back of the building. And we weren't aware of any issues with that, being that there are other paintings on other buildings downtown. I wasn't aware of any approval that I needed to get for that. And I guess when they started painting the building next to us, somebody said something about the painting on our building, so I wanted to come in and make sure that we get it approved properly so that we can be within standards. So,
Do you have a picture of what you're gonna paint?
it's already on the building. It's
No, why are we talking about it?
because they asked me to come down and
Paperwork.
because, yeah, we didn't know about it, and I mean, we had already done it. It's been done for months. Yeah, so,
Okay,
It was a code case.
you're discharged then.
yes, sir. I mean, like I said, when they painted the building next to us, I guess they had to get approval, and that's when somebody said something about
Yeah,
our,
gotcha.
we didn't repaint the building, by the way. We by no means did we paint anything, like not painting the building. We painted signage on the back of the building. So,
Okay. This is samples of your work.
that was she asked me to provide samples of other businesses downtown that had signage and or murals. Because ours is considered, I mean, it's painted Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on the back of the building, and then there's our symbol is on the back of the building.
So it doesn't do me any good to ask for a sample of what you're gonna do, because you've already done it.
All right, all right.
Okay.
We've been down there since November, and we currently have probably 130 to 150 people coming downtown, on a weekly basis with our members. So, as our gym's growing bigger and bigger.
That's what this is, a gym.
What's that?
This is a workout gym.
It's a martial arts studio. Yes,
Oh,
sir. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
so be nice.
We need a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any further discussion?
A mural on a storefront of this sort wouldn't fly in the face of anything as far as our city's historic preservation ordinances go. As you saw from his photograph, that's, I believe, a 1970s reproduction storefront anyway. I think the original structure had a brick entryway, those plate glass windows, that's all more recent add-on. That's not anything that would be a historic defining characteristic of the structure that is altered. So I don't think this goes against anything we have in our ordinances, either nationally or locally.
And I did read through it, and I didn't see anything as well. I mean, I always try to stay within, when I got all my approvals and stuff downstairs, I didn't see anything. That's the reason why. And I asked, like Marion Street, hey, did you get any kind of approval to paint? They said no. So I did it. So if you don't know your breaking rules, you can't really break a rule. But I did read it, and nothing was there. Like he said, I didn't see anything that said I couldn't do that.
I'll have to use that the next time I break the rule.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Isn't there no saying?
These are to ask forgiveness. Yeah.
easier to,
Yes, sir.
they get approval.
I think we're bringing a lot of value to downtown right now. I started my very first business in the corners of Blanchard, the computer guy's store. I was there for 10 years. We loved the downtown area. You know, we're a little bit further down now. We actually are buying the building now. So we're bringing, like, there's anywhere between 130 to 150 families down here on a weekly basis. As a matter of fact, I'm in my martial arts post because we're in the middle of class, but I left my coaches in charge and said, hey, I gotta run down the street real quick, so.
But we'll get you out of here.
Okay, yes, ma'am, thank you.
If there's no further discussion, we have a motion.
Motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So approved.
Thank you, guys, appreciate it.
No old outstanding business for the Historic Preservation Agency? No workshop questions?
Mr. Young has some workshop information.
I got some information for y'all. As I was telling Mr. Leidig just a few minutes ago, the ordinance for the land development regulation that went through y'all and then the city council had its second reading last night and was approved for the three classifications, maintenance, minor and major work for downtown.
And when we see those packages that have already been preliminarily approved at your level and would appear, will they come to us as a package such as Mr. Warren's did? Or are you going to begin compiling a sort of a consent agenda that we look at?
Well, it'll be a
Yeah,
consent agenda, but it'll be, you'll get those packets with it.
Have you all in favor? Sometimes it's useful. Keep all presses high.
We're still pushing for iPads for everybody. As soon as my budget can afford it.
Just out of curiosity, when that went before council last night, was that a unanimous approval?
Yes, it was.
Very nice. Or did they just look at you and say, planning and zoning board, who?
Oh, no, they're well aware of y'all.
Very nice.
Did they say they were?
Well, they didn't say who. No, the question was, this was approved by the planning and zoning, and I went, yes, it was.
Okay. Any further comments, business?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic.
Done with that one.
Meeting adjourned.
Next meeting.
Okay, next meeting,
Which one do you want to go for, purple or blue?
I think we're gonna go for Mr. Young, I think, for the next meeting.
I'm in both of them.
Oh, well, you're in one standalone, I think.
Yeah.
But let's do your standalone.
We wait last to get me since I'm the only
Okay,
one
is that
on.
gonna be a quickie?
Yeah.
Sometimes you take one. Okay, then we will go to the purple Board of Adjustment. Roll call.
Mr. Adele,
Here.
Mr. Bond,
Here.
Ms. Beverly. Here. Mr. Adele,
Here,
Mr. Leidig,
Here.
Mr. Naylor,
Here.
all in present.
fantastic. Have we had a chance to look at the minutes of the last meeting? And do I have a motion?
Motion to approve minutes of last meeting as submitted.
Second.
All in favor? So moved, so passed. Okay, the first item on the agenda is SE 2102. Pastor Shaw, would you join us, please? And if you would give your name and address to Ms. Beverly, please?
Dr. Jonathan Shaw. Say that address to
Yes, please.
308 Southwest Callaway Drive, Lake City, Florida. 38202.
Thank you. You swear that the information you provide this evening is true? Yes.
I'll firm.
Thank you very much. Okay, and why are you here this evening?
Yes, I'm employee, special exception for the church to be put on 729 Wilson Street here in Lake City. It is a vacant lot at the moment, and we just want to put a church there.
Mr. Shaw, did you have a church there before as well?
No,
Not that location.
not at that location, at a church at another location, which was 1912 441 North.
Not a building there now. You said you're gonna build a building there?
Yes, ma'am, plan to build. There was a attempt to build, which is a foundation that another church had
Yeah.
that I actually acquired from them years ago initially, but they didn't finish. They just had put in the foundation wall and then left from there.
Is this a new church?
It'll be a new church, yes. Was building is concerned, but I've been preaching the gospel for 40 years.
Okay. Old church, new home.
Right, right. New home, right, new location.
What type of construction are you planning?
We was looking at going with the metal building. We initially was gonna go with block, but after looking into the price of having the metal building erected than the block, we decided we try to make those plans to work in with the metal building, so it'd be a less expensive project on the overall.
Do you plan to use the original foundation as a footprint?
Somewhat, not exactly. We got some alternation from it. They had originally was like a 40 by 100, but we just want to make it a 50 by 100. So 5,000 square feet. Okay.
Will you be
But in the
adding,
same location area though.
or will you be adding to the foundations there, or will you be taking away, or?
Well, we were told we had to take that down from the planner. They said because it won't meet the code up to date. So
So you gotta go in with a new foundation.
right. Thank you.
Any further questions or discussion? Motion,
Motion to close public hearing?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So approved.
Well, thank you very much.
Not
Oh, sorry.
yet. We have not moved to approve you yet.
Oh, I thought that's what that was.
We just closed, you can't talk anymore.
You just 10 seconds too quick.
Is that what it was? Okay. Sorry about that.
Mr. Young, am I correct in assuming that since this is for a special exception, we will be seeing the pastor back here for this formal site plan review and a few more details regarding the nature of this structure and how it's going to situate itself? Okay.
Now, I do have some tentatively site plans from my planner. If y'all like to see,
We'll see that one at the next meeting.
Oh, did they?
You're gonna have to come back and
Okay, got it.
visit us again.
Okay.
First, we gotta approve that a church can be put on the lot.
Right, I got it.
Then we have to take a look at your construction drawings.
I got it. Okay.
Any further discussion? Motion,
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you again.
Yes, Ms. Pearson. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is item SE 21-5. Mr. Kirsch, are you with us this evening?
Yes, I am.
On screen.
Yeah, I'm on the screen.
Mr. Young, do you need to swear him in?
Yes, ma'am. If you would, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you are about to present is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I affirm.
Thank you. Please give your name and address.
Jeff Kirsch, 2716 West US Highway 90, Lake City, Florida, 32055.
Thank you.
And you may now present your case to the board.
What we're trying to do, I just wanted to open a small weapons refurbing and manufacturing plant. Basically, when I say manufacturing, it's nothing more than a desktop CNC machine that can do minor alterations to weapons and put them and serialize them and put them out, for sale. So the licenses allow me to sell and to manufacture weapons.
Will there be any ancillary storage of explosives on site?
None at all. No, we're not going to be a retail store where we're going to have ammunition, stuff like that. Mainly it's going to be special orders, and then people can custom order, as an example, a hunting rifle with a certain scope, with certain barrel, certain action, which then we'll fab that and make it available for them. Very small time.
Just on a little side tangent here, will you be able to CNC reproduce the internal locking mechanisms of 1860s muskets?
No, I'm afraid not.
Bang.
I know that sounds like that might be a profitable business, but at this point, I can't say no at this point because I'm not fully versant in the capabilities of the machine that I have on order. But it's pretty versatile. If I study up on the CNC language, it may actually be able to do something.
Tumblers and sears for an 1861 Springfield that the reenactors use are in very, very high demand.
Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind.
Mr. Kirsch, is it safe to say you're a gunsmith?
I have a gunsmith on staff who is a National Guard armorer. Actually, he's Coast Guard. He's ex-Coast Guard armorer, NRA instructor, and field instructor. He's on my staff. I am personally not a gunsmith, but he is. He'd qualify as that.
Any further questions? Motion to close vote.
Do you know where this is located? This is in a small building that's directly behind the Verizon building on 90 across from Walmart. It used to be an office building, Bishop Realty. Actually, it was the title company for Bishop Realty many, many years ago. And then I think it was an insurance agency. And then it was a hairdresser, Glorious Hairstyles. We use it as it's our staging area for our swimming pool industry. We have 14 trucks that are staged out of there every day. We're just going to take a very small portion of this and secure it and make it into a workshop.
Well, I take it that this will not be open to the public.
Not necessarily, no. I mean, on invitation only.
Okay.
Not going to be a retail store.
Thank
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
additional discussion.
Any further discussion?
Straight up, straight down.
Motion.
Motion to approve special exception 21-05 as submitted by the proponent.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. If you guys need anything special made, just let me know. We'll be able to do it.
Lots of muskets.
Lots of musket. Okay. Those are muzzle loaders. Yes, I didn't need a license to do the muzzle loaders. Appreciate it though, guys. You have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is petition SE 21-1. Mr. Finn?
How you doing, everybody?
Excellent.
Well, we're good.
You want my name and address?
Yeah, raise your hand, please. You swear the information you provide this evening to be true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Yes. Thank you very much. If you give your name and address to Ms. Beverly.
Okay, it's gonna be 2329 West US 90 Lake City for the 32055.
Your name?
Yeah, Clinton.
And the reason you're here this evening, Mr. Finn?
We try to apply the beer license for the restaurant, for the restaurant.
He's requesting a special exception to sell alcohol in his Chinese restaurant.
No, it's
Captain Crab, I'm sorry.
Crabs and beer, huh?
The alcohol that you're gonna be selling, is that just beer and wine, or is it?
just beer and wine.
Okay.
I'm with Mr. Naylor. Beer and crabs. I've heard enough.
Yeah.
And this is, where's Captain Crab located?
It's right there by the big lot.
Gotcha, I know where it is, and I've had it before, it's very good.
Thank you.
I didn't know they were there. I just.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
very,
I
very
went
good.
very recently.
Where's the all-you-can-eat pizza?
Yes.
Pizza, beer, and crab, okay, I got it.
Make a motion, we close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion?
No heartburn from the city,
None whatsoever.
other than what's caused by craft and beer.
That's it.
Do we have, or bear in mind, is there any kind of a limitation in the city?
No, the state license is for alcohol, I believe. So you can restrict it to just beer and wine.
And several other restaurants around there have that same license.
Yeah.
Red Ginger, I believe the Chinese family one.
More than restaurants have,
Oh, yeah.
which is why I was asking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless they got a bar inside for the hard liquor, then they don't normally serve it.
Okay. So we only care if it's really hard.
I make a motion that we approve SE 21-01 as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. So approved.
Oh, thank you.
Sir, you can come in tomorrow, Mr. Young can sign the paperwork for you.
Why you do this for my partner?
I could hear you.
You want to get his partner pick it up, can he sign for it, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, my partner.
Yeah.
I'm from there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is SE 21-6, submitted by Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith, are you on camera? Ms. Smith?
Yes, ma'am.
Just one moment, Ms. Mavis.
Okay.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Denise Smith, address 295 Northwest Commons Loop, Suite 115, Unit 237, Lake City, Florida, 32055.
Excellent. And you're here this evening to discuss with us. What do you need, Ms. Smith?
For permission to use building address 140 Northwest Ridgewood, Lake City, Florida 32055 as a 24-hour childcare facility. I myself work in law enforcement, and after my divorce, I realized how much of a need it is to have childcare facilities that are open at night, because we all end up working 12 and 16-hour shifts and no quality childcare for our children. So I would like to utilize that building for my 24-hour facility.
Ms. Smith came before you in January. She had applied for the same thing. Unfortunately, she was unable to place her daycare at the other location. So she has been here before.
Yeah, I thought so. But I didn't have a chance to fully read all of this. I was reading the here, and it said to, oh, it's another one. 3 is for the asphalt parking. We're gonna do 2 of them.
Exception for the use and then exception.
Gotcha. I apologize. Any further discussion? Motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Close public hearing?
Okay.
Aye. Any further discussion with us?
I just want to have it in commercial general, that's all.
So then,
So they're just putting a daycare, childcare, and a commercial general special exception.
And this one,
Motion.
Mr. Young, this would be the first of these sort of domiciliary style 24-hour daycare centers that we have within city limits.
No, it's not.
No.
There's one at Winston currently,
Okay.
and there's another facility.
Did we move to approve yet?
Move approval SE 21-06 for the accepted use of the property.
All in favor?
all right.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
So approved. And we have another one pending, Ms. Smith.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
2103 concern asphalt parking lot.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm sure you all have the copy that shows the layout of the property. Here it was already being, I actually outlined it in that on that form where there was already, that side of the property was already being used as parking. And it's actually hard enough. And there is some, I want to say there is some concrete under there because it's just so hard. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I want to say that there is because it's so hard. But it's perfect already for parking. And I have 2 concrete areas that's going to be for my handicap. And I feel like even a small combat car is fine on that property for parking. Because I park my car there every single time that I go, and I actually drive a mid-sized luxury vehicle, and it's just fine.
Any further questions?
Move to close public hearing.
Okay.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay.
No discussion.
No heartburn for the city over a non-asphalted surface there.
That's been being used in that for the last 30 years.
The survey company before you
Yeah.
stood there, they had a piece of tape.
In that case, move approval of petition petition 21-03 as submitted for the application from asphalt parking material.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So approved.
Did you say SE or B?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
B
but the
2103.
Minutes reflect that's a B, not an SE.
The next item, I believe, is SE 2107 by Mr. Perry.
Leave.
Raise your hand, please. You swear the information you provide this evening is true and correct to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can give your name and address to Ms. Beverly, please.
Point there, DOYTI. 177 North Pike Way.
Thank you, sir. 32025.
Thank you. And you are here this evening to discuss with us what?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here to ask permission to rent a property at 365 South Marion Street, Suite 4 and 5. I think it was a church there to be utilized for church. I think it was a church there previously.
Church, then it was the Tapia Jerusalem. Awesome burrito asada.
Probably won't be any burritos. Sorry.
Strike one.
Any discussion?
Make a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No further discussion?
Nope.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve petition SE 21-07 for a church in a commercial strip mall.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. So approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well said. Thank you, sir.
That was almost painless, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Our next item is
I
S.
have a question. Ms. Smith, you don't have to stay on any longer unless you want to. What was the?
Oh, I was just checking out. It went so quickly. I wasn't sure if I got approved for everything.
Yes, ma'am.
It had-
Okay. Thank you so much.
3.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Now we have item 2108.
That's him.
I have 08.
Yeah.
Are we skipping 08?
How about you?
Oh, there's no one here for 08.
And also the 2104.
Is that on?
Is that Mr. Pippin, this calls in?
Yes,
Pippin?
yes, ma'am.
Mr. Young will swear you in.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Pippin, this is Dave Young. I'm going to swear you in.
Okay.
All right, I need you to raise your right hand, and I need you to, do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I do recognize your voice.
And Mr. Pippin, we have 2 items, I believe, to discuss with you this evening. Could you tell us about your 2108?
I'm trying to get a variance for the square footage for the minimum to try to put a single family, single wide mobile home on 365 Colburn.
That would be V 2104.
That's 2104.
Yeah.
And B 2108 is about the design of your manufactured home.
Oh, it's It's a 1993 14 by 60 single wide mobile home.
Beverly, I didn't find the paperwork for this one. Did we look at this?
Yes, ma'am. There was.
What is it?
Let me put it for you.
Do we have pictures?
Any mobile homes in that area? Mobile homes on that.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I only have 2 copies of V 21-04. I don't have any 21-08 that's in my packet. Oh, wait a minute, underneath, okay, I've got 2 04s and 108. So I may have one here, 21-04.
Is there any other mobile homes in that area on that street or?
Yes, ma'am. The next door neighbor has a single wide mobile home to the right front facing. And then on the corner of Colburn and the next intersection is actually 2 mobile homes on the same lot on the corner.
He's also.
And then there was one right across the street that just it just burnt down last year.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
What was that you said, Ms. Jones?
He is the last lot in city limits going east.
Oh, wow, okay. All right, hearing no other discussion, I move that we close the public hearing portion of petition SE 21-08.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any further discussion or do we have a motion?
He's got the mobile homes to the north and the south of this particular one, are they also of the standard design or are they
Yes,
the residential?
Those are the
manufacturing style?
standard design, and they are in a lot more shape than this home is.
So there's no problem with neighborhood conformity?
No.
That being the case, I move that we grant the special exception for a standard design manufactured mobile home as requested in SE 21-08.
Zero.
Second.
This will be for 21-08.
Oh, wait, it's the mobile home, 04 is the lot. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed, so moved.
Thank you.
Now, on 2104, which is the lot size. A variance to allow the lots, a different lot size. And Mr. Pippin, you are still under oath.
Yes, sir.
Lot size difference is about 450 feet from the minimum. That should be notated in your staff map.
Pretty cut and dry. Tight on there, but heck, there's mobile homes north, mobile homes south. Same design.
If there's no further discussion, motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Being that this is cut and dry, unless there's any outstanding discussion, I move approval of petition V 21-04 as submitted for a loosening of the lot size regulations.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So approved. Thank you.
We'll be in contact.
Thank
with
you.
sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
There you are.
No, whatever it is, no.
Oh, don't worry, this one's gonna get fun.
Where am I?
Okay, but before we even get started. Has everyone approved the minutes of the last meeting?
We're still on, meeting 21-05.
On the last one and this one,
Oh,
and the first, and the following one in the,
okay, well,
planning and zoning.
Where
They both cover the same thing.
it's B 2105.
It's the same thing as the one you were about to do the site plan review for. It's just a variance on the setbacks for some of the parking structure.
Here we go. Look under there. Do you need to be sworn in?
He does.
He does look a little shifty. Would you? Do you swear the information you provide this evening will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
Will you please provide your name and address to Ms. Beverly?
David Young, 205 North Marion Avenue.
Sure.
Positive.
And the reason you are here this evening, Mr. Young?
The city is redoing the Sally Mae Jerry Park, which is up here at Long Street and Marion. And we're in the process of buying a lot that's behind it that a house got demoed on, and we're in negotiations with the owners now of that lot, the heirs, to buy it. But we don't own it yet, and the restroom building where it has to sit is going to be within 5 foot of the rear lot. So we're asking for a variance to allow the restroom building to set within 5 foot of the rear lot line until we buy the land behind it.
I didn't even know we had a Sally Mae Jerry farm.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it or is it not true that the foundations have already been poured for this bathroom?
I have given them permission to pour it because they had to get the concrete trucks out of there so they can keep coming out with their work that they're doing.
Is it ordinary that construction already begins before?
No, sir.
It has appeared before our board?
No, sir. That's why I'm appearing.
Do we have certain guarantees this will not become a pattern of the city violating its own rules?
I will only say that I will try my best.
I don't imagine this was solely your responsibility. Are there other parties involved that you have read the riot act to in regards to this?
Yes, sir. But I take full responsibility.
We don't have to do that. I know how pressure works on these things. But, yeah, needless to say, I was talking, I was doing my drive around looking at the things in my packets, and I said, well, the stage is already built, the sidewalk's already poured. And we'll discuss this a little further when we do their site plan review, but everything's already constructed in that park.
Yes, sir.
You called the fire squad with this guy?
Some tells me it's probably not him that pulled the trigger and said, build the park.
Sometimes
Yet notice
people
how-
are not even aware of it until afterward.
Yet notice how that individual is not standing at that podium pleading the case for having pulled the trigger and built the park before it came before this board.
Got it.
That could be why they're planning on putting us not in real building, when they built it.
Our board will meeting tomorrow, okay, unless fancy ones are voting for us.
Oh, I thought we were supposed to get it in the no bank.
The administrative office.
Customer service and growth management will be moving into the bank building,
The not so old.
which they approved last night, the purchase of.
And you will get a site plan, or not a site plan, but a special exception
Yeah,
for those.
have to
that-
do a special exception now that we are owning it for a governmental building to be there.
And are you going to be presenting that or?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I think we need someone else.
I
to
think
present.
whoever from city council that made the motion
I think so.
or the second
I think so.
to have that purchase made should be the one standing at that podium.
Or maybe even Steve, maybe even Steve.
They call it delegation. We delegate you to go before.
I used to have a saying when I wanted to be upset about something. I would tell them that they need to bring somebody who made that money to hear what I had to say. So.
I agree with that.
I believe we can continue this discussion a bit further when we hit the blue folder, but at least in the interim, because all the foundations are already poured within the setbacks, I move we go ahead and ratify petition B 21-05.
Second.
Okay, we didn't close it, but we'll assume it's closed.
No one on the line, please.
Yeah. Oh, we had to swear in these public. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Now you get to go for it again, and you're still under it.
Yes, ma'am.
Adjourn board of government first.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Well, we have three motions, will someone please?
Second.
Thank you very much, all in favor?
Aye.
So passed. We are adjourned. Now we're on to the zoning board.
I'll call roll for you guys. Mr. Adele,
Here.
Mr. Bond.
Here.
Ms. Everly. Here. Mr. Zelos.
Oh,
You're here.
here,
Mr. Lydic,
Also here.
Mr. Naylor,
Here.
all present.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 2nd meeting.
Second.
you're still sworn in.
Yes, ma'am, I realize that.
Aye.
And your reason for being here again this evening?
Is the work at the Sally
Jerry.
Park.
Sorry, Mayor.
Sally Mae Jerry Park. This is the site plan review. This is, I believe we have a site plan at the very back that is showing the layout of what's going in.
Practically a set of as-bills.
Almost, yes.
My previous comments notwithstanding, but for the record, we'll see this a little earlier in the process next time.
I hope so, yes, sir. This is not my favorite part of my job.
I know.
But as who said it before, it's better to ask forgiveness.
It goes around, comes around, doesn't it?
Oh,
Now, the city does in fact own this park, right?
yes, we do own the park. Now, the site plan is showing the property adjacent to it also. And that is where the parking lot is going. Well, that's the one we're buying. It's adjacent. That will become the parking lot for the park, because there is absolutely no parking there. Not even street parking. So if you got from that neighborhood and can walk to that park, then you can't even use it.
So you want us to give you approval contingent on the property sale going through?
Well, we will come back on the property when we obtain it. What I'm looking for is the Sally Mae Jerry Park the restroom, the stage, and the renovations that we're doing to the actual park. We will come back with a site plan once we have bought the property that has closed and before the parking lot goes in.
And a special exception for governmental use.
Yes.
And the brown wooden fence that's on the western portion of the park construction site right now, that's pretty much the property line between the adjacent lot and what you're developing?
Yes, sir.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Submitted. Thank you very much.
Motion to approve site plan review 21-21-01, although that may be a typo on my
That's
minutes
PR.
here.
No, that's, yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So approved.
Continue building the park, please.
I didn't hear the joke.
She said.
You need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
He said we're going to approve the CO.
Chris, you need a motion. Make motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in
Okay.
favor? We're adjourned.
Aye.
Kill the mic so we can all laugh.
Oh, yeah.